Amidst the chaos of the railway station, a symphony of trains and hurried footsteps fills the air. Unseen by the bustling crowd, John sits alone, a portrait of despair. Most people believe their future is written by fate. Amid the relentless rain and blurred lights of the railway station, John shivers, his pleas for help lost in the roar of passing trains. Amidst the station's chaos, Mr. Harrison hurries by, oblivious to the wallet slipping from his grasp onto the rain-soaked platform. Lost in a moral battle, John trembles as he picks up the wallet, his hunger warring with his conscience. Years later, the office gleams with success. John, now a confident businessman, shares a knowing smile with Mr. Harrison, a silent echo of their shared past. The narrator says, "Sometimes your entire destiny can change with just one sentence, and in his journey lies a secret that could change your life forever." The camera reveals a breathtaking city skyline, a testament to John's remarkable journey from poverty to triumph. The railway station buzzes with frantic energy, a sea of hurried travelers amidst the thunderous rhythm of trains. Amidst the chaos, a lone beggar sits silently, his tattered clothes a stark contrast to the bustling crowd. Faces pass by, indifferent and hurried, magnifying the beggar's profound isolation in the heart of the city. In a fleeting flashback, a younger Beggar stands amidst the bustling railway station, a picture of utter bewilderment. The cacophony of train whistles and garbled announcements amplifies his disorientation. His slightly better clothes belie the depths of his lost and uncertain future. The railway station is almost deserted, its dim lights casting long shadows that deepen the night. The beggar's eyes, filled with anguish, search the night sky, seeking a glimmer of hope among the distant stars. His voice cracks with despair as he cries out into the emptiness, "Why was I born into this life?" Amidst the relentless rush of the city platform, a lone beggar sits in silent desperation. His trembling hand extends, a desperate plea lost in the city's indifference. He whispers, "Spare change? Help, please." Amidst the bustling city platform, a businessman strides confidently through the crowd, a symbol of success and prosperity. Spotting his target, the beggar straightens, attempting to mirror the businessman's polished demeanor. With hesitant hope, the beggar approaches, uttering, "Sir, a little help, please." The businessman stops abruptly, his challenging gaze locking onto the beggar's, disrupting the expected transaction. The businessman's piercing question hangs in the air. "Do you always just take? Have you ever given anything to anyone?" The beggar's hopeful expression falters, replaced by a dawning introspection as the city noises fade into a distant hum. Amidst the whirlwind of hurried travelers, a lone beggar sits in desolate silence, a forgotten soul in the station's frantic symphony. The relentless tide of humanity surges past, their hurried footsteps and distant voices amplifying his isolation. Lost in the clamor of urban chaos, the beggar remains unseen and unheard. At the bustling train station, a well-dressed businessman pauses before a beggar, his gaze thoughtful rather than pitying. The beggar looks up, a spark of surprise flickering in his eyes. The businessman speaks, his voice firm. "If you believe you have nothing to give, then you also have no right to receive." The businessman smiles faintly at the sound of the approaching train, then turns to face the beggar with calculated indifference. "I am a businessman. I believe in exchange. If you can offer something, I can give you something in return. But if you truly have nothing to give, I cannot give you anything either." The train doors hiss open. The businessman boards without a word, leaving the beggar in stunned silence as the train pulls away. Amidst the city's relentless pulse, a beggar stands with an outstretched hand, a silent plea etched on his weathered face, lost in the sea of indifference. A well-dressed businessman halts before the beggar, his gaze sweeping over him with an inscrutable expression, igniting a flicker of hope. The businessman breaks the silence with a question that shatters expectations. "What do you have to give?" In the deserted train station, a beggar lies on the cold floor, lost in thought. Confusion clouds the beggar's weary face as he grapples with self-doubt. "Do I really have nothing to give? Is my life only about asking, never offering?" Days later, the beggar is sitting quietly on a park bench, no longer begging, his eyes reflecting a sense of stillness. His gaze fixes on a young woman struggling with a heavy box, an idea igniting in his eyes. A newfound sense of purpose fills him as he rises and approaches her. Beside the railway tracks, a lone beggar sits hunched, a figure of despair against the harsh landscape. His tattered clothes and scarred face speak of a life etched in hardship, contrasting with the vibrant wildflowers blooming defiantly nearby. The distant hum of an approaching train vibrates the air, amplifying the somber music and the despair in his eyes. Amidst the overgrown railway tracks, the beggar gathers wildflowers, a spark of inspiration igniting in his eyes. What if, instead of just begging, I give people a flower in return? He shuffles forward, extending a trembling hand and offering a flower to a disembarking passenger. Days later, at the bustling railway station, the beggar stands confidently among the commuters, now radiating a quiet inner strength. He offers simple wildflowers, their vibrant colors a stark contrast to the drab surroundings, transforming small acts of kindness into moments of shared humanity. The station buzzes with renewed spirit as people come to participate in the blossoming of hope, the air filled with the melody of warm, uplifting music. Amid the city's rush, a disheveled beggar sits alone, his outstretched hand and dejected posture unseen by hurrying crowds. A subtle shift in demeanor as he retrieves wilting flowers, a shy smile momentarily brightening his worn face. He extends the flowers, a gesture met with surprise and confusion, yet a few faces soften, returning his tentative smile. Weeks later, the beggar stands tall amidst the city's hustle, radiating confidence. A basket of vibrant flowers blooms at his feet, drawing passers-by like moths to a flame. No longer merely surviving, he thrives, a beacon of community in the bustling city. Amidst the city's chaotic symphony, a beggar's eyes light up with sudden recognition. Clutching a single flower, he rushes forward, a hopeful plea on his lips. "Sir, today I have something to give you." The businessman, surprised by the offer, responds with a hint of irony. "Now, you are no longer a beggar, you are a businessman." Amidst the chaotic rush of the train station, a beggar sits in silent despair, his outstretched hand a plea lost in the crowd. Coins fall into his bowl, each one a stark reminder of his shame and isolation. His voice barely audible over the station's din, the beggar pleads, "Please, spare some change." In the desolate alley, a beggar huddles in the shadows, a picture of utter despair. He clutches the few coins he owns, each drop of rain amplifying his misery. His voice cracks with resolve amidst the downpour. "I can't live like this anymore. I will never beg again." Time has spun gold. The once lost man now stands tall before his thriving flower shop, a beacon of success. He orchestrates his team with assurance, his smile a sunrise in their workday. "His flowers always brighten my day." The reformed man smiles. He smiles, a genuine smile of accomplishment and self-respect. Amidst the railway station's relentless hustle, a ragged beggar sits unnoticed, his plea lost in the crowd's indifference. A businessman pauses, breaking from the uncaring stream of passers-by, and drops a coin into the beggar's cup. "You only receive when you give." The businessman's words echo as the beggar stares at the coin, a glimmer of comprehension lighting his face. 6 months later, the flower shop bursts with life and color, a sanctuary of beauty and renewal. The beggar, now transformed, arranges flowers with newfound confidence and purpose, his past life a distant memory. His warm smile greets customers, a beacon of hope and transformation in every bloom. Amidst the hustle of the railway station, a businessman stands alone, awaiting his train. A familiar face emerges from the crowd, a former beggar, now an entrepreneur, extending a hand in greeting. The entrepreneur reveals the secret to his success. "You taught me the greatest truth of life: we only receive when we give." One scale represents taking, accumulating resources, but remaining stagnant. The giving scale shows resources flowing outwards, creating ripples and growth. Giving leads to expansion and development, contrasting with the stagnation of taking. Self-perception significantly influences the recognition of opportunities and potential. Visualizing one's potential can transform perceived limitations into accessible pathways. Positive self-perception reveals hidden opportunities and expands possibilities. A fixed mindset is represented by a gear mechanism struggling to turn, symbolizing resistance to change. Introducing a catalyst symbolizes a change in thought, allowing the gears to shift smoothly. A change in mindset unlocks potential and creates a cascade of positive outcomes.